Shalom Chavirim. It's Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock here in D.C. Well, the weather, July 2nd. The storms came through yesterday with a vengeance. We were spared some of the worst in one area. Other areas got a lot of destruction, a lot of trees. Once again, it's weather. And so we like as human beings to think that we can control everything or that we're actually in charge. And the reality is we are human beings. We live on a planet and we need the planet's resources in order to survive. The atmosphere, we need water, etc. Well, back on track again to let's make America good again. This isn't about aggrandizement. It's not about hurting other people. It's about taking a look at our own values. And we hear all the time from all religions and from politicians, from everybody. What are your values? What do you value? Unfortunately, Hamlet was correct when he said, our values are more observed in the breach than they are in the actual practice of them. I would like to turn that around. I'd like to prove Shakespeare to be wrong. That religion is more honored in the observances, in the way people act, in action, than in their words and what they say. Well, in any case, we're up to step 9. I think I collected 11 steps, by the way. Originally, it was going to be 10 because of the 10 utterances, the 10 commandments, but somehow I ended up with 11. Well, our 11th step is knowledge and intellectual exchange. Knowledge and intellectual exchange. And so, before the detail, a little spoiler alert. Jews are called people of the book. Obviously, that's a result of the importance of study in Judaism and learning. Christianity. How can one possibly understand the epistles? And the church during the Middle Ages kept education alive. Islam has a very strong emphasis on the pursuit of knowledge in order to understand the teachings, in order to understand the Quran. And of course, for Hinduism, the pursuit of knowledge is a path to liberation for all of us. Buddhism, how can one understand, how can one become enlightened without knowledge, without study? So let's start with our Abrahamic religions, as I have been doing. And I remember I do look down, I do pause to take a look at questions people are asking and respond to them. And people have already started asking me to invite them on. And you can see I'm alone this week because no one took me up on my offer to join me. So anyone that would like to join, email rabbiblock@hotmail.com. We'll meet in my Zoom room. We'll come up with questions, answers, procedures, way we're going to operate, subject matter. It can be whatever you want. And I can have 2 people. I can have 4 people. I've said it before. I would prefer to have someone join me than be alone. Well, let's start with Judaism. The study of Torah and Jewish texts is fundamental. It's a commandment. The value of learning. How can you know God's teachings without studying them? How can you know revelation without studying it. Judaism developed the debate in order to better understand sacred documents, sacred texts, an intellectual debate based on respect, not on name-calling, not on insulting someone, not on bullying someone, not on badgering someone, but rather respect for the other person's opinion and to understand what's being said. That's the nature of the Jewish debate. For me to be able to understand what someone who is saying. Someone just wanted to know, I'm a Reform rabbi. Very often we make it into a reformed, a past, no, reform, it's an active verb. It's the process of Judaism staying current. That's our subject. With knowledge, with archaeology, with other religions. How can I understand my Judaism without understanding Islam, my brother religion, Christianity, my sister religion, the three Abrahamic religions? How can I understand Judaism without knowing Hinduism, Zoroastrianism? Learning, teaching, study. Through dialogue, through debate, through commentary. And it's lifelong learning. It's not a matter of, oh, I don't have to do that anymore, or I know what that is. By studying, by talking with someone else, hey, wait a minute, I didn't realize that. An excellent point, spot on. And then I change my views, my ideas, and I can then go back to my sacred texts and say, you know what? What you just said is there. And it's not a case of supporting Palestine or Israel. I believe in a two-state solution. I believe in two countries that recognize the right of the other country to exist. And say so publicly. And mutually help each other. Israel and Jordan have diplomatic relations. Israel and Egypt have diplomatic relations. And so I would hope we all live to see the day when there is a Palestine and it recognizes the state of Israel's right to exist. Right now, things are just so bogged down in war. So, some sacred texts in Judaism. Wisdom is supreme, it says in Proverbs. Get wisdom, and with all you're getting, get understanding. Now, the Talmud, get yourself a teacher. Acquire yourself a teacher and a friend in order to study. The Talmud also emphasizes study leads to action. Study alone is sterile. Our goal is to change our behavior so that we can make the world good. Now remember, the Old Testament, part of Christianity, emphasizes study, emphasizes learning. Paul, in his epistles, in his letters, emphasizes spiritual wisdom. And as I mentioned, monasteries and universities, that's what kept knowledge going during the Middle Ages. I attended Boston College. I was trained by the best Jesuits. That's why I was so pleased with our past Pope, Pope Francis, Jesuit. The emphasis in the Jesuit tradition is teaching, learning, debate, respect, understanding. 2 Timothy, all scripture is God's breath. It's all useful for teaching. Go and learn. Romans, the epistle to be transformed by renewing your mind. What does it mean to renew my mind? It means not just listening to one side, not defending something as if it's the only right way. Renewing your mind is, look, in the Gospel of St. Luke, Jesus engages in debate and dialogue with teachers. It says, age 12, regardless. That was very Jewish. This idea of give and take, the idea of the debate to get at the crux, to get at the truth of what we're discussing. Scriptural literacy, inquiry, spiritual wisdom are essential to discipleship, to ultimate transformation. Run, don't walk the other way when people ban books, when people ban websites, when people tell you, oh, you don't want to talk to them, or this is the only way. No. Nope. You're not going to find that in Judaism. You're not going to find that in Christianity. And you're not going to find that in Islam, the third of our Abrahamic religions. The Quran, the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, emphasizes seeking knowledge. Islamic civilization is rich in history, intellectual, scientific advancement. One fascinating study that was done from one of the universities, they went out and just asked people on the street, should Arabic numerals be banned? And a huge number of people wanted to ban Arabic numerals. What, you want to go back to Roman numerals? You can't go calculus. You can't do space. You can't do medicine, do science. The numbers 1, 2, and 3 have come to us through Islam. Oh, algebra also came to us through Islam. I don't think trigonometry did, but I have no use for trigonometry, and no one in the known universe uses trigonometry. Yeah, but algebra came to us through Islam. The Quran and the Hadith, strong emphasis on the pursuit of knowledge. Oh, and what was the first revelation to the Prophet Muhammad? Read Surah 96, the first line. Seek knowledge, even if you have to travel far. So, it's an obligation, a religious obligation on every Muslim intellectual pursuit. Religious, scientific learning is a divine mandate. But that shouldn't surprise us, because Judaism and Christianity say the same thing. So our three Abrahamic religions stress the importance of understanding each other through knowledge and exchange. This isn't about, no, you didn't use trigonometry. You're just saying that to try to throw me off and say anything. Come on. Islam, Judaism, Christianity. We want to learn what other people believe, not to convert anyone, not to put someone else down, but to understand your neighbor. I know lots of things. Born Jewish, raised Jewish, I'm a rabbi, I went to a Catholic college, I studied with the Jesuits. No one ever wanted me to convert. I never converted. Just because we learn and read doesn't mean we're going to become. I watched Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons, and I have never dropped an anvil on anyone, and I have never exploded dynamite. One can learn and understand, and that's why knowledge and intellectual exchange will make America good again, because we want to understand each other. We don't want to insult someone inadvertently through ignorance. Not thrilled with this war, Israel, Palestine. I'm not thrilled with what's going on in Africa. I don't like the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And Hawkeye said it best on MASH. War is worse than hell, because the people in hell deserve to be there. The civilians who die in war don't deserve to die. That's a truth. And we watch war over and over again. Over and over again. So the goal of Islam, the Quran, read in the name of your Lord who taught by the pen. Say, my Lord, increase me in knowledge. From the Hadith, seeking knowledge is obligatory for every Muslim. Are those who know equal to those who do not know? And again, we want to be really careful, because this isn't about conversion. This isn't about showing someone else is wrong. And this is really about understanding why that person eats that or doesn't eat that, or why that person is walking and not riding, or why that person has a certain value, or why that person dresses in a particular way. And that's only going to happen through knowledge and intellectual exchange. Mm-hmm. So Islam is our third Abrahamic religion. Knowledge, scholarship. And we only have to look at the discoveries that came out of that golden age of Islam rule. Buddhism, our first Eastern religion this evening. The understanding of the true nature of reality is essential for enlightenment. And it only comes through study, through reflection, and meditation. The Buddha's teachings encourage critical inquiry, critical thinking, so that we can have a better understanding, not to put the other person down, not to show that they're wrong, nothing about them. Buddhism is all about the I. How can I understand the universe I live in? How do I understand the world God created? Through study. Not by denying science, not by picking up and following teachers that aren't based on good research and study. It's critical analysis, critical thinking. And that's Buddhism. You see, knowledge is insight into the true nature of reality. And wisdom is one of the three jewels. We have morality, meditation, and wisdom, the three jewels of Buddhism. Studying, part of the Eightfold Path. Study. And here we are back again. Dialogue, discourse, respectful debate, sharing with one another, sharing beliefs, sharing practices, sharing food. And, you know, one of the things we all want to be is a perfect stranger. Maybe even been invited to a funeral, to a bar mitzvah, to a bat mitzvah, to a service, to a prayer meeting. Don't you want to be a perfect stranger? I want to be a perfect stranger. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass anyone at a meeting. How do I become a perfect stranger? By studying, by knowing how to dress, by being respectful of what other people are doing, not making ridiculous jokes and stupid remarks as if their beliefs aren't valid. No, and just because we respect and understand doesn't mean we become. That's why I said I'm Jewish. I'm not Roman Catholic. I have respect for the church. I understand the church's teachings, and you've heard me. But just because I know doesn't mean I'm going to become. It only makes me a perfect stranger and makes me better. I have a whole list of people that have an invite after their name. Please email me, and you'll be on with me next week. Okay? We'll do next week. Promise. From the sacred Buddhist writings, those who have acquired understanding, who are ever mindful, they are wise. Encourage questioning, personal verification, not blind belief. And that's critical. Critical thinking means I don't believe it just because I read it on the internet or just because my pastor told me. Where did my pastor get that from? What is his understanding of the teaching? Where was he educated? What is he quoting? The Buddha always praised intellectual honesty and critical thinking. Systematic Buddhism, exploring consciousness and knowledge. So knowledge in Buddhism is experiential insight leading to liberation. Knowledge will set us free, not blindly following someone, not only watching one news channel. I checked out Al Jazeera before I came on tonight to see what was going on. I have the app on my iPad and on my phone, along with Reuters, along with the Associated Press, along with Fox. It's knowledge. It's learning. A spiritual path. Hinduism, well, pursuit of knowledge is one of the paths to liberation, the same as in Buddhism. The Vedas, the Upanishads, all the sacred literature, they're vast repositories of wisdom. All the sacred books of Hinduism. I'll say it again. They're repositories of wisdom. And they're worth all of us reading part or some or relating to or talking to someone that understands them to help us learn, to help us teach. And spiritual knowledge is one of the three main paths to liberation. We have knowledge, action, devotion. The three paths. If I'm going to be liberated from caught up in my own thinking, if I want to stop breathing the stale air in my bell jar, there it is. And knowledge, self-knowledge, will end up with unity with Brahman. And the very study of scripture in Hinduism is sacred. Invite young somebody. Yes, I want you to be co-host with me. Young Convo. It's hard for me sometimes to read the little print. Yes, I'd like you to join me next. So send me an email and we'll meet in my Zoom room and discuss our topics. Sacred Hindu texts. There is nothing so purifying as knowledge. The Gita. By knowing one, everything is known. Differences between higher and lower knowledge. Noble thoughts, love it, from the Veda. Noble thoughts come to us from every side. And too often, here on TikTok, in my personal life, when I was chaplain, I guess I still am a chaplain, still a rabbi, I find that people kept thrusting at me this one thing. Read this. If you read this, you read this. This is what it means. Pieces of a puzzle. Each one of us has to find the pieces that completes our puzzle. And what you find, I want to know because it works for you. Maybe it'll work for me. Maybe you'll be able to give me something that's a key to help me liberate myself. So knowledge in Hinduism is intellectual, spiritual, rooted in sacred literature, in meditation, realization, and dharmic living, living the path. Well, there you have it. Debate and study are religious acts in Judaism. Christianity, wisdom and scripture guide faithful living. In Islam, seeking knowledge is a divine obligation. Buddhism, wisdom leads to liberation through insight. Hinduism, realization of the self and the divine is the highest form of knowledge. Now, those are just bullet points I picked out, but all 5 are saying the same thing. All 5 are saying study, dialogue, reflection. And that will liberate all of us. And that will certainly make America good again, because we won't attack each other. We can easily say, that's kind of neat. It's not my way to unite with the one. Now I understand your way. Isn't that great? And we all have our great teachers. Muhammad, Moses, Jesus, the Buddha, the Vedas. There is knowledge everywhere. Teacher, student. And again, that's why I keep saying, all of you who want to be invited, we're going to learn more when the 2 of us talk to each other. When the 2 of us pick a topic. When the 2 of us agree to our procedure, and this is how we're going to proceed. Well, step 9, knowledge and intellectual exchange. We're coming to the end of our 30 minutes together. And now a word from our sponsor. How to Be Jewish in 30 Seconds. Available Barnes & Noble, Amazon, or from your local bookseller. And let me see. And Joe is the cartoonist. And there's a cartoon for each of the chapters. Enjoy life? I'm behind the book, so it's hard for me to tell. Have a good time. Watch cartoons. Enjoy life. L'chaim. Oh dear, I ended 4 minutes too soon. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. That which is hateful to you, do not do unto others. I've talked about that with our other steps. Each of the 5 religions I have been exploring say that same thing. The same thing. Don't do it if you don't want it done to you. A lot of things went wrong with political Zionism. Someone asked me what went wrong with the Zionist movement. I'm not a political Zionist. I'm not a religious Zionist. I'm a social Zionist, a spiritual Zionist. And Zionism got too grounded in the politics, in a country. And once you become a country on the world scene, you can see what happens to Egypt. You can see what happens to the Gaza. You can see what happens to Ukraine. You can see what happened to Hungary. Once you become a country on the world stage, you know we're involved in world politics and survival. And it becomes both scary and nasty. I'm still looking to see if there are any questions for our last minute. If you've had a Passover Seder, you know about the plagues. And the plagues weren't just then. They're modern plagues that still haunt us. And we sometimes forget that our actions can be very destructive. Okay, I've stalled enough. Lila Tov, everyone. And you don't have to send me an email just because you want to come on with me. If you want to meet with me, if you have questions, if you want to explore anything else in detail, I'm retired. I have a Zoom room. I have plenty of time.